Well, that report from Richard Lister. Now let's get reaction to this from Washington, D.C., because joining us from our studios there is Zainab Chaudry, who's from the Council of American Islamic Relations. A very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
I'm curious, first of all, just your own personal response. What went through your mind when you heard what Donald Trump had to say at that rally?
It's absolutely unbelievable for an elected official or a politician who's running for the highest office in the land, for him to make the kind of reckless comments and irresponsible comments that Mr. Trump has made. I think it really points to a new low in how our politicians and candidates who are running for office are running their campaigns. And unfortunately, we're tremendously concerned about the backlash and the effects that this could possibly have on the Muslim community here in the United States.
I mean, that's entirely understandable, but I wonder whether you take any comfort from the fact that an awful lot of other Republicans in the race very quickly spoke out against what he said.
They have spoken out, but unfortunately the condemnations are not strong enough. We need the GOP leaders to speak out more emphatically, because we're seeing a pattern here from Mr. Trump in terms of his anti-Muslim rhetoric. And it's contributed to a lot of bigotry towards the Muslim community here in the United States. We're witnessing unprecedented levels of attacks and hate crimes, threats against houses of worship, against mosques that have been directed towards the Muslim community. And unfortunately, this is directly correlated with these kind of remarks that he has a history of making.
I mean, is that related, though, to just one man? I mean, it's bigger than just Donald Trump, surely, and he is a man who some people don't take very seriously at all, and he's well known for saying pretty inflammatory things about an awful lot of subjects.
Well, we know that he's catering his remarks towards his base, and unfortunately there are people who support the kind of rhetoric that he's making. And of course we don't attribute all of the anti-Muslim rhetoric or all of the Islamophobia that we're witnessing to Mr. Trump, but however we know that elected officials and politicians or candidates who are running for office, they do carry more clout than the average ordinary citizen, and that makes them that gives them more responsibility to speak in a way that doesn't inflame tensions, that doesn't incite backlash towards communities. And the kind of rhetoric that he's saying, unfortunately, it's very alienating. He's playing right into the hands of ISIS. Again, he's playing into the kind of, the kind of rhetoric and the propaganda that terrorist organizations like ISIS want. That's what they want. They want the Muslim community to feel alienated and isolated. And that's how they, can boost their ranks and legitimize their platform. And unfortunately, when we have individuals like Mr. Trump making these kind of comments, that just strengthens their platform.
I mean, would your organization ever actually try and reach out to his campaign team and put those points and ask him not to be inflammatory, or do you take a view that there's just no reasoning with him?
We have in the past reached out to him. Our executive director actually invited Mr. Trump to engage in dialogue, and Dr. Carson, both when they were, Dr. Carson is another GOP candidate who has made anti-Muslim inflammatory remarks, and we have reached out to both of their campaigns to engage them in dialogue and try to tone down the anti-Muslim rhetoric, because it's been having such a negative impact on the Muslim community here in the United States. Not to mention, it's just not American. It's unconstitutional. It doesn't reflect the values of our country, of democracy and freedom and equality for all citizens. And it's just very concerning, because especially with this political campaign well underway in the election next year, it risks further alienating the Muslim community from our faith neighbors and allies.
Zainab Chaudry, good of you to come and talk to us. Thank you very much there from the Council of American Islamic Relations.